I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently put out a blog about Garco's standing seam panels. Now, Garco is now part of Seco, but if you have an older Garco roof or you're a contractor and they're telling you that it's a Garco standing seam panels, this is a great article for you to read through. So what we're discussing is how to protect their panels when you're working on the roof. So we want to use fall protection for the workers, but we want to protect the roof system at the same time. So this whole article is about compatible fall protection for these roof systems. So if you scroll down through here, you'll see we go into depth into the different panels, give you pictures or drawings. We talk about the different gauges that are available. So anytime we're talking about seam mounted equipment, we're referring to 22 and 24 gauge steel panels only. If it's not steel or if it's a lighter gauge, we can talk about some alternative products, but for 22 and 24, that's primarily what we're discussing today. So this is our quick reference charts. As you can see, you've got the panels across the top, the products we're going to talk about down the left column. So the first product we're talking about is the SSRA1. This is intended for 22 and 24 gauge steel panels, non-curved. It uses 12 stainless steel set screws. They're non-penetrating set screws. And on 22 gauge with the cup tip, you're only torquing to 90 inch-pounds. There's a lot of older style seam anchors out there that are two plates of steel that you're squeezing or crushing the seam between those by squeezing 4 bolts or a few bolts together. And they're using over 100 foot-pounds of torque on those bolts. And that crushes the seam. With the set screws, we don't interfere with the seam operation at all. We're basically just squeeze 6 pairs of set screws. We squeeze the seam in between at low torque settings. So if you're working on 24 gauge steel, you switch over to the nylon tip set screws. They're also good for 22 gauge steel, but 22 or 24, you can use the nylon tips. And that's going to torque 180 to 200 inch-pounds. What's unique about the SSRA1 is the ability to use a removable D-ring. You can take the D-ring off and you can add adapter plates. So if you're on a steep roof and you need walk boards so you can do some work without slipping, you would mount 2 SSRA1s about 8 feet apart, remove the D-rings, mount a pair of SSRA2 roof jacks on top of those, and those are seam height adjustable as well as roof pitch adjustable, and have adjustable height legs as well. So that gives you your walk boards, and you can put one worker on those walk boards on standing seam. If you need a 100-foot horizontal lifeline temporarily on a standing seam roof with no penetrations, you would mount 2 SSRA1s on seams next to each other, remove the D-rings, mount an SSRA3 Anchor Plate on top. Now, as you'd notice on the SSRA3 Anchor Plate, it has wide grooves cut in it that allows for different panel widths. So this is going to be compatible with 12 to 24 inch wide seams. And that assembly of 2 anchors and a plate, that would be at each end of your horizontal lifeline. So the kit we offer is the SSRA HLL Kit, and that includes 4 SSRA1s, 2 SSRA3 Anchor Plates, and the 100-foot horizontal lifeline. Now, keep in mind that lifeline is a 4-person lifeline. So if you're attached to I-beams or some other rock-solid anchor point, you can run 4 workers on there. But on standing seam, we limit that to 2 workers. And for larger crews, that's easy to mitigate because you can't really have a bunch of workers on the same horizontal lifeline effectively anyway because they can't pass each other. So the best thing to do is run that across your roof area, and then wherever the work area is, let's say it's a solar array that you're servicing, you would have a couple of extra SSRA1s mounted on seams just below the rope. So the worker would travel to the work area, clip off to a fixed anchor, descend the roof, do what he has to do, and other workers can still work on the line. That way you can keep it to 2 workers on the horizontal line at a time. We do also offer a industry exclusive 120-foot super anchor permanent lifeline. That's intended for standing seam roofs with non-penetrating clamps, aluminum base plates, 5-inch riser posts, and 120 feet of galvanized steel cable. So that's another great system to take a look at for permanent installations. Now, for any of these panels or basically any type of roof, almost shingle roof, metal roof, TPO, anything that has a 612 to 1212 pitch is a candidate to use the Ridge Pro. So the Ridge Pro is very simple. It's like a ladder hook without the bulky ladder. It's a lightweight ridge hook that mounts on the end of a 16-foot extension pole. You climb a ladder, you use the pole to run it up the roof, flip it over the peak, and you've now locked a vertical lifeline through the peak of the roof. So as soon as you step onto the roof, you're already tied off. It's one of the very few products out there that you're tied off the minute you step onto the roof. You can do an inspection, do a repair, install other equipment, and you can get safely back to the ladder, and you were tied off the entire time. That's the Ridge Pro. So once again, that's not just for metal roofs, but the primary thing is that it's 612 to 1212. That gives you the angle you need to lock it over the peak. There's a pin you can pull, and you can adjust for different pitch roofs. You set the pitch, and it'll lock on. It'll match the pitch to the roof. So if you have any questions about any of these panels or any of these products, just give us a call. Our phone number is at the top of the website. Our email is support@fallpd.com. And our live chat is this little blue button in the bottom right corner. Just let us know how we can help you.